Today we're going to be going over the Iron Forge 2022. Even though I participated in Iron Builder before, I lost, and I actually have a chance to get back in and compete once more, and that's through the Iron Forge. And so I entered this year, did a whole bunch of builds, made it to the final round, and what do you know, we're going to recap all those builds that I did. The first round seed part was the lever piece, both the base and the actual lever. You could use any color you wanted. The main build I built for this round was this owl, and I used the seed part in the eyes. As you can see, it's really just a facade. The backside's just all structure. I used mixel joins to shape the feathers. The branch is fairly simple as well. It's just a bunch of gray and black bricks around a snotted core with a place for him to clip into on the back. Just mounts right on there, and it looks like he's just sitting on the branch. As a huge fan of Owl City, I've always wanted to make an owl, and this was my first attempt. As the builds were pouring in for the first round with the levers, I realized I only had one build, and that was the owl, and so I quickly threw together a second build, a tiny little dog. I'm fairly happy with how this dog turned out because it uses two different levers. You can see I used one for the nose and one for the tail, but check this out. This is a technique I learned while building this dog. These skeleton hands can stick up inside of here, and so you're able to clip it on different things. That's how I was able to attach the tongue as well. And voila, doggy. And boom, just like that, I made it to round two. Round two's seed part was interesting. It was a tap element. So this piece was the seed part for round two. I ended up doing 3 different builds with this piece. The first build I did was this garden gateway build where I used the seed part as a bunch of greebles. I like the angled crookedness of it, and there were big yellow trees with mystical fruits. Coming up with this pattern was a lot of fun, as well as the pattern in the back, even though I stole some parts from it. And then this creepy old man. The next build I did was this small Torii with these little trees as micro scale. This one was really fun to do because I really like the artistic style in this one. It's a unique color scheme, and I like the flat rocks. I put these shields in the ground, and I really like the technique of sticking the forks inside those Technic tubes up top. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling pretty tapped out this second round with this seed part. This is the sketch that I made for my third build, and my idea was to use the tap element as the wheels and the handles for a recycle bin. And this is the build that I ended up doing. It's pretty lively and fun. It was fun to build a character. I did end up building a trash can or a recycle bin. It's in the wheels down there. It's on the handle. I started throwing the seed part everywhere, even on the fence and the sunflower. I'm not super happy with how the guy's legs turned out necessarily. I like that it's teal, but the shaping just felt off. He's positioned on one foot, clipped in with a bar that's stuck in the ground, you can see there. So he's pretty well balanced in that regard. I was kind of proud of this trash can, how well it looks like an actual trash can. So like, I have one of these outside that I put my trash in. Nice. Like I said before, all in all, I wasn't as happy with that round as I probably could have been. I think the tap element was a great piece to be really creative with, but part of the fact that it had been around for so long and I've seen it used in so many mocks for so many years, it really kind of restricted my creativity in a way that I wasn't expecting. The final round element was a hinge, but not just any of these hinges, not the base, not even the 2x2 variant of the hinge, but the top of the 1x2 hinge in any color. So yeah, these are the 4 builds from my final round with the hinge. Obviously, a huge contender for the best one of my entire performance in the Forge, and then some smaller ones that I'm quite happy with. The first of my final round builds was this awesome micro spaceship. This came about by playing around with the seed piece a bunch and coming up with techniques. For instance, this back portion uses a bunch of the hinges. They actually clip around this dish, and then you're able to build off of it, and that creates the engine in the back. And then the star of the show is this pattern here on the front using visors and helmets. I'm really happy with this ship. It combines a bunch of elements in a micro scale kind of freighter ship that almost looks surgical. Everything's mounted off this central 1x1 beam with a bunch of like snot bricks off of there where everything is connected. It actually all does kind of rest on this stand that I made. It is fairly light, very swooshable. It's pretty sturdy. Oh, you can see I kind of cheated with these back here. Uses a cool technique. If you didn't know this, Yeah, you can connect dishes or round plates with this hammer piece. Now you know. The next build I did, I spent several days on because I really wanted to do it justice for the technique that I was doing, and then it ended up just getting really big, and that would be this tower house castle build. First, let's talk about all the uses I used for the seed part. You can see I used it on these windows here. This was the main usage that I came up with first that inspired this build, the T-shaped windows for archers or whatnot. The next use I came up with was right here at the top. You can see the edges are just lined with the sides of the seed part, not just up there, but down here all along the bottom. This was a great use for all my light blay ones. And then I just threw in extras on the windows down here in black. There's 4 in each of these windows down here, as well as the lining of the roof used some in black, even though I stole some already. But that's basically it for the seed part. And then the rest was all pure castle fun. And then I really loved the autumn vibe, so I went with that, with all these trees. Got to use a whole bunch of the brown curvy pieces, which is actually a huge pain to have those sturdy but still hold up these trees. All right, time to see the disgusting backside of this whole build. So this is where all the magic happens. This is where all the structure is. It's quite disgusting. You can see that tree is barely holding on with that Technic axle. Yeah, but this roof technique right here. So basically, it's held on by clips at the top and then just angled. It might be a little janky actually, but yeah, this is the whole backside of the castle. There is no interior here, but this is what has to be done to make something like the other side. It's fairly sturdy. I'm going to be displaying this at a convention, and I hope they don't complain that I never finished off the rest of the build. Hope they just look at the front side and love it for what it is, because that's what I do. Some of my favorite details as well were these railings down by the door, where I used some of the lever bases, as well as incorporating the tap piece up onto the roof and right under there on this side. All in all, I gotta say this is one of my favorite builds I've done in a while. And I like to give an homage to Iron Builder with all those seed part usages throughout the round. I was thinking of saving this for last to post, but I just couldn't help myself. Also went out and bought a bunch of extra of the paper that it ended up being photographed against, because white and black backgrounds just didn't do it justice. So yeah, I don't know what else I could say about this other than I think it's worth the time and effort if you have it to put into a larger build that you can spend more time on. Usually in these contests, you're building extremely fast and you end up with a lot of like first draft mocks, but I actually spent quite a bit of time on this, refining it and stuff. Obviously there's stuff that could be better, but for what it is, I was very happy. I am very happy. Will continue to be very happy. Okay, so my next build was a smaller build, obviously, because I spent a lot of time on the big one, and it ended up being this little frog build. I came up with this frog design first, using the levers as the eyes, and it was pretty cute, I thought. And then I came up with this Ninjago, I think, sword piece from years ago. Made a perfect tongue that I was able to wedge in between the mouth and the levers, and then I created this little fly technique. I wanted this style to be very cartoony, and you can see that in the final edit, where it almost feels like it's out of a children's book drawing. The base, I'm really happy with the shaping of the base, but these lily pads are a little sketchy because I wanted the blue. They're like, most of it is not even connected. That's like typical. Well, with that out of the way, we're down for our final build that I was literally rushing to the last second of being able to post this dragon. I think I needed one more build just so I could compete score-wise with other people. And this dragon was the speed-built answer. I'm really happy with the seed part usage on the stomach here. I'm unhappy with the proportions of the dragon. I like this wing. Well, I guess I don't like the dragon anymore. I just killed it. I want to show you how much is compacted into the center of this. There's a lot going on in here. So basically everything is attached off of this middle Technic ring. I have studs being attached. The neck is extra supported by that robot arm clip. It's just a lot connected in a very tight space, and then obviously all covered over with a dish. I was pretty proud of that, even if the proportions look bad. I am happy with how the head turned out for the most part. I think everything could always be built better, especially with dragons. But now that it's broken, I think I can just throw it away and forget about it. What a thought. All in all, the Iron Forge was a lot of fun to build in. It really got me back into building this year, where I felt like I had kind of waned a little bit in my building last year. So this is a good kickstart to my year, and hopefully a lot of more mocks to come. And oh, by the way, you want to know the results? I came second. W. Navarre came first. He absolutely deserves an Iron Builder round, and I look forward to seeing his unique style on display under the immense strain of a real Iron Builder round. you better be ready. If you like this style video, I don't know if they do as well, but I think they're more interesting in the fact that you get to see behind the scenes and kind of like a look back on what I did, not just the photoshopped picture on Flickr or Instagram. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Leave a comment if you wish. Have a good one. Catch you later.